The introduction of the free SHS policy of government has been received by parents across the country positively. While many of the schools continue to grapple with challenges with accommodation and other major infrastructure needs, it appears private senior high schools are the hardest hit. Their fortunes apparently keep declining by the day. JoyNews' Richard Kojunyako has been visiting some of these private senior high schools in the central region and to look at the impact of the introduction of the free senior high schools policy on the private senior high schools.
Rollout of government free senior high school policy has left many private senior high schools empty. A visit to some of the private senior high schools in the central region by JoyNews reveals a cocktail of impact on the schools. While some of the schools are making slight gains, others are really feeling the pinch. JoyNews has been speaking to the headmasters of Hope College, a private senior high school located at Gomua Fete in the Gomua East district of the Central Region, and Samu Senior High School, a private senior high school located in Cape Coast.
We initially did our homework well. We started with advertisements, and then we went to some of the churches around. We visited some towns and villages around, and then we also organized an educational fair for junior high school 3 students. And it was a grand ceremony. We brought them here. I think we had about 200 of them, and we accommodated them for 1 week in a boarding manner. And so the teachers were also brought in also to teach them. So many of these things have culminated in the ease of getting students now. So we are not feeling the impact as greatly as other private schools are experiencing.
Well, in the face of the implementation of the free SHS policy, private schools like ours have suffered, particularly in this region, because you know already when it comes to the fees that we charge, those of us outside Accra have not been able to charge the kind of fees that those in Accra charge. So for us to further go down to lose numbers certainly would have a telling effect on our financial situation. Under normal circumstances around this time when students of those of the public schools have gone to school, our system should be such that parents should have been rushing to us at this point. But here we are. Apart from the first day, that was Monday, our first year students came to school on Monday. Apart from that very first day, we have seen a drastic, or if you like, a drop in the number of students that are coming in. Many parents have come to buy the forms anyway, but it doesn't look like, you cannot compare it to those times when government was placing us on the CSSPS, platform so that parents were choosing. Now, as it stands, we have to fend for ourselves.
This flagship program of government has received applauses from many people and organizations both in Ghana and outside the country. But according to the heads of the private senior high schools, the non-inclusion of their schools in the admission process is threatening their livelihood and their businesses. Winston Mills Lamte is the headmaster of Samu Senior High School.
And since Monday till now, we have a little less than 100 students. Under normal circumstances, because of the size of our brand, we should have had over 200 students by at this point. But this is where we are. If nothing is done, we on this part of the divide as employers, we want to believe or we want to have confidence in government. If you look at the comments that are coming from government sectors, it is clear that government is considering adding us to the system next year. I believe that if that happens, fine. If that doesn't happen, it would have a serious implication on the financial status or standing of private schools. And that wouldn't augur well for employment in this country. Because as you know, a school like ours is employing well over 100 workers. They're talking about 85 teachers, some of them being part-timers, others being full-timers. So it's actually a huge thing. We have been partners to government in this human resource development drive. So the earlier government looks in our way, I think the better.
For the headmaster of Hope College, one of the biggest private senior high schools in Ghana, government should do the needful to help the private senior high schools to thrive.
We have 2 basically halls of residence, that one for boys, this one for girls. Look at this big building for academic work alone. Then we have this big assembly hall, which is about 750 capacity. This is a field, almost Olympic standard. Now, this building that you see there is a practical building which will house all the practical subjects in the school. We'll go there. You see how huge it is. Now, with these facilities, now if the government doesn't see eye to eye with us by giving us some of the students, what do we do with the facilities? What do we do with the teachers? How do we pay them? How do we pay our utility bills, water, electricity? How do we even maintain the buildings? So we are saying that, yes, the free SHS is a very good policy, but the government alone cannot operate it.
The stories of these heads sum up the frustration they're going through in the face of many parents struggling to place their wards in the boarding houses due to inadequate infrastructure and the fact that some schools are decongesting their schools in order not to compromise quality. The heads of these schools hoped that such students would have been placed in their schools so such problems could be taken care of.
Now, why is it that this policy, which should actually see all students, all children of school-going age, at least up to the senior high school level, who are Ghanaians, why should there be a discrimination against those in the private schools? Now, is it because we don't have any maybe ventilation to air our grievances? We have done it because the minister met us twice. The deputy minister met us twice. The director general has also met us. WAEC, CSSPS. I do remember there was a particular meeting at the Nat Hall at Adabraka. I was there when the CSS people told us that private schools should also come on board and that they will accommodate us. Now, if we did, and which actually we did, and they didn't bring them, it is not our fault. So it is the government which is actually not helping us.
Now, some of the schools are threatening laying off some of their workers should government not include them in the free senior high school program. Headmaster of Samo Senior High School in Cape Coast, Winston Lamte, says it wouldn't be economically prudent to still keep large numbers of staff while their student population keeps going down as a result of the introduction of the free senior high school policy. Richard Kwejenyako, Joy News, Cape Coast.
And that's Richard Kwejenyako, our Central Regional Correspondent, filing that report for us.